All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Instagram-a-rama. Oh, I think are we live there? Well, the live button just went on, but I'll say it again. Good evening and welcome to Instagram-a-rama, where we are learning how to build our business the right way of getting some leads using Instagram. For those of you who are on tonight, if you want to go out on your Facebook wall and just kind of have people come on over and tell them we're hanging out here, give them the link. That would be great. Tell them what you're doing. I do have it up on my Facebook wall, so you can kind of go hang out there and kind of share that and give some love, because we're going to talk about something very exciting tonight, and that's how to use Instagram to get targeted followers. But before we get started with that, I just want to talk with you guys a little bit about what's been happening this week with the slap heard around the world with what YouTube is doing. I've had many colleagues of mine, clients, and some leaders and mentors of mine who wound up having YouTube shutting down their channels or flagging their videos, and it looks like they're going through a big change as to how you're going to be marketing with your videos. And so if there's a couple of things that are going to be going on, I'm going to be doing a very special training at 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday, where I'm going to explain to you what my take is on the what's going on with YouTube and what you need to do. I'm going to be teaching a concept called multi-channel marketing. And you're probably wondering, thinking, well, this is Instagram-a-rama. Why are you talking about YouTube? Well, let me tell you something, guys. Social media networks, they're always changing their terms of service. I mean, there's always a few bad apples and a few bad internet marketers that tend to abuse social media with doing spamming and everything, and then the social media networks have to go in and they have to redo their terms of service or adjust them. And a lot of times when they do that, we wind up, the ones that really market ethically and conduct our businesses ethically, we wind up having to feel the consequences of those, and we wind up getting, sometimes our stuff might get flagged or shut down altogether. And nothing is, nothing's safe. And Instagram right now, we haven't seen any type of restrictions coming yet, but I will assure you that now that it's becoming one of the fastest growing social media demographics, or social media network, excuse me, that's out there, we're going to see them probably cracking down too on the types of images that people are posting out there, and how they're, and if they're putting comments and their captions and that are sounding like pitches or spamming. We're probably going to be seeing some changes with Instagram as well, and we know that Facebook's been kind of cracking down too. And Instagram is owned by Facebook, so we're going to have some of those, and I'm expecting it. I mean, you have to understand that leaders and entrepreneurs, in order to really have a successful business, you have to learn to anticipate when problems and roadblocks are going to be coming up. And so you're going to have to understand that there's going to be restrictions coming and changes in terms of service with Instagram too. So as I heard what was going on with YouTube, I thought, maybe this is time, because my mentors have taught me this concept called multi-channel marketing. And what that is this is a way for you to make sure that your followers are going to follow you no matter where your content is going and what social media network you're using. And it's a good way of, kind of protecting yourself and your content so that you're still giving value to the community in the marketplace. And so you're going to want to watch my Facebook fan page. I'm going to be putting out the registration information sometime tonight, and it'll definitely be out there tomorrow. So you want to make sure that if you want to hear more about this concept of multi-channel marketing, as well as what's going on with YouTube, you're going to want to watch that. Also, there is one for My Lead System Pro, our video marketing expert, Mark Harbert. He is going to be doing a very special training tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he's going to talk about what's going on with YouTube and what to do now with your videos as to how to set yourself up apart from the competition, and as well as how to protect yourself and protect your content in case your channel does get shut down. So if you want information on that webinar, please get a hold of me. You can contact me, shoot me a message on my Facebook wall, or send me a private message, and I'll make sure that I get you the registration information. Now, with that said, let's get started with our, let me see who's all on here right now to make sure that everybody sees me and hears me. Okay, we have Jamie and Bill on so far, so welcome. I know some people had messaged me before the Hangout saying they couldn't make it because of a prior obligation. You know what, guys? That's totally fine. What I'm trying to do is once these Instagram trainings get up, I will get them uploaded to my YouTube playlist. And if for some reason YouTube decides to take them down, don't worry. I have downloaded these trainings, and I will make sure that I will upload them to a different web hosting site so that you will always have them. Now, episode 2 wound up being a very corrupt file. So what I need to do is I'm just going to do a quick video recording sometime tonight or tomorrow where I'm going to do a recap of what was talked about in episode 2 and get that up on the playlist. And I apologize for that when we had some issues there. So right now, if everybody can see and hear me, let me know in the chat and we will get started. Okay, we have Rick on too. Hey Rick, good to see you. So if everybody can hear me, I'm going to bring up our slides. And right now, there's kind of a pause going on just because for those of you who are new, we're using a Google Hangout platform. And when we use a Google Hangout platform, there is a delay with the chat and when you're scrolling through, and I just want to make sure that we are going through. Yes, Jante, we are live right now. I'm just looking through the chat. Sometimes, guys, when we have a repeat chat with this Google Hangout, you might see information from previous Hangouts in the chat. For some reason, they don't close and it doesn't start over. So you're going to probably see some things coming up from previous Hangouts. So with that said, let's get started and let's talk about Instagress. So I'm going to bring this up here. So for those of you who are brand new tonight, basically in this set of weekly webinars and Hangouts, we're going to learn how to use Instagram to build your brand, create raving fans, and sell more stuff. And so usually what I say for ground rules, make sure you turn off your, turn off Facebook or turn the notifications off, put your phone on silent, and, excuse me, I had to get a drink of water there, and make sure you have fun and that we ask some questions. Now, if you want to connect with me, for my YouTube channel, just make sure it's youtube.com and it's digital marketing doc. That's where you will find the replays for these Hangouts. And then also you can connect with me on Instagram, instagram.com/Dr. Lisa Thompson. And then my Facebook is facebook.com/Dr. Lisa Thompson. That is my fan page. And so if you see the fan page where it has over 7,000 likes, that is my page. So like I said, we're talking about today, we're going to do a quick recap of last week. And actually, I don't have an Instagram tip for the day. Or actually, I do have an Instagram tip for the day, and that's talking about, I'm just going to try, I forgot to reset. We talked about Canva last week. Well, let me delete here. Let me see. It's not letting me delete. Okay, so we're not talking about Canva. So we're going to be talking about a different tip. So the recap of last week, we talked about Instagram apps for both the Android and the Mac. We had paid apps we talked about and free apps. Now, some apps, I think the most expensive we talked about last week was $4.99 for one app, and then we had some that would go down from like 99 cents up to, $4.99. But the key with, understanding between paid and free is if you are going to be using Instagram as your primary lead generation strategy, and that means, you're going to be driving traffic and you're going to be mastering Instagram, then you're going to want to invest in the paid apps because they're going to give you either more templates, they're going to give you more tools to work with that will help you build your brand. And so it's worth the investment to have those tools. Now for me, I do have a lot of paid. I have both an Apple iPad mini and I have a Samsung S5. So I use both Samsung and I use the iPad mini to do my images and doing my posting. So that's just the big thing. It's up to you. But if you really have the money and can afford getting the paid apps, it's going to pay off for you in the long run. Now, my Instagram tip of the week, it's not Canva, that was last week. And I just want to say, too, just make sure I do have the previous week's episode of Instagram-orama up on my YouTube channel, and so you can watch that there and you can get more details on the different apps we talked about. Now, my Instagram tip of the week is using the Instaframe app. And that is, you want to use the Instaframe app to create a collage of pictures combined into a single image. So this is a way that you can share more content in a single upload. And what you see on your screen here, I created for a blog post. I was talking about how to get targeted traffic using Pinterest. So what I did is I found some royalty-free images of different Pinterest images, and I went in on Instaframe, excuse me, and I found a couple of different collages, and I just put 3 images together. And believe it or not, this particular image wound up being the most popular image I posted on Instagram, and it had the highest level of engagement, where I had over 15 comments from people commenting on this particular blog topic, as well as just talking in general about Pinterest and images. And I wound up getting a couple of leads from Instagram based on just this little piece of the way I designed this this image. So you can find, and you can test too, guys, when you are, if you have an app like Photolab, you can do multiple collages, and Instaframe, you can go in there and try different, test different ways of putting your images together and see which ones give you the best response. And so that's my tip of the week. So you guys, what I really want you to do is just get out that Instaframe, find some images, and start playing around. The best thing you can do with Instagram right now is have fun and play around with images and come up with things that are playful, have a story-like feel to it, and you're not pitching your opportunity, okay? We want, I just want you guys right now to start getting in the mindset that the purpose of Instagram is to capture people's attention, to start a conversation which will eventually lead to presenting them with the opportunity. You want to find out if they're going to be the right fit for you, okay? And this is the way that you're going to also fly under Facebook and Instagram's radar, where they're not going to flag your pictures down as spam. All right, so we're going to talk about Instagress right now, and I am going to, first thing I'm going to just explain a little bit about what Instagress is about. And then we're going to go right over to the website, and I'll show you the do's and don'ts of Instagress. Now, Instagress is a great way of you to get targeted followers fast. Now, this is a paid service. Now, you do get a 3 free day trial, but what it does is it's going to automate some tasks for you. It's going to allow you to like a lot of images, comment on a lot of images, and you can either follow or unfollow images, okay, and followers. And I'll show you in just a minute what all this is about. But this is a great way now, guys, if you are really going to be a very serious Instagram user, they do have different price plans for using this service. You know, I know a 30-day trial of Instagress is only $9.99, and if you really want to go all out and have a year, you can pay for a year, and that's like $80, which isn't really all that bad for a service. But right now, I kind of like to do mine in 30-day increments, and I might go, you know, you can also, they have like, you know, a couple months, like a, you know, 6-month subscription if you want, but they have different price points, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, Instagress do's and don'ts, and I'm just going to talk with you right now what they are, and then it'll be easier when I show you. Do not pitch in comments. Now, I'm sure some of you in your Instagram, you can kind of tell what's been a bot and what is an automated comment. And sometimes I see people, they will automate, you know, they'll put a comment in where they're talking, they pitch me their opportunity. And it could be a picture of me just showing a picture of my dog. And it's like, oh, do you need leads for your business? Or, oh, are you looking for an opportunity to make some money? And it's like, that's not relevant to my image. And so that's where a lot of people are going to get into huge, huge trouble with Instagram. They think that it's just like an automated message service where, you know, you can just spam your opportunity link and just pitch the heck out of everybody. And no, 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 no. I do not want you guys to do that. Okay? The purpose of leaving comments is you want to leave the comments generic enough and asking an open-ended question that is, you know, really non-threatening. Okay? It is non-threatening, and what it will do is that, excuse me, I need to take a quick drink here. Is you want to build the bonds of trust with your prospects, okay? You know, it's like an icebreaker, and you're going to want to talk about things that are not related to business, because a lot of times you're going to see people on Instagram, you know, they're just posting pictures of themselves and what they're doing. You know, they're not really using Instagram for a business-related purpose. Okay, so you have to be mindful of that. So you want to, you know, sound conversational, break the ice, and these are some examples you should put in there. Like, nice picture. How are you? How are you doing? How are things? And it's very generic, and people will respond back. You will be amazed. I get a lot of connections and followers from people where when I leave that in there, and then they immediately respond back saying, oh, things are good, you know, how are you? Or, you know, things aren't going so good, I'm having a rough day. And that just opens up for you to have a meaningful dialogue with somebody. And you're not talking with them about the business, and you keep a dialogue going. And what we'll do is in future Instagram episodes, I'm going to teach you a really cool way that I learned from my mentor, Diane Hockman, on how to get people, you know, how you can get people to look at your opportunity. You know, she did it showing us with Facebook, but I'm going to show you how you can do the same concept with Instagram, all right? And this is it's a very, very easy, really cool, relaxed way. It's, you know, pitch-free. It is a way where you're going to really make meaningful connections with your prospects. So what you're going to want to do then as well when you're using Instagram is you're going to have the ability to put in your hashtags. All right, and this is where your tags for likes hashtag app is going to come into effect. So before you use Instagram, you're going to want to do some hashtags, find out what the most popular hashtags are. You're going to find out what hashtags, related to your business or to your market. And if you look back in previous episodes of Instagram-orama, we really talked about how you're going to enter into the marketplace. That was our second, I believe, it was maybe our first episode. We talked about how to enter in your marketplace and creating your customer avatar. So, and that's when when you've done that customer avatar, you're going to see those hashtags of what people would be typically typing into Instagram to find certain images. So they're kind of like keywords that you would type in to like Google to find things, or if you're like using Twitter uses hashtags. So you're going to want to do some homework ahead of time to find out what your market's hashtags, what are they typing in, and that's what you're going to want to put in Instagram. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind too, when you're using something like Instagram and you just have it on follow, you're going to have you're going to build up your followers very, very fast. And usually it becomes a red flag when all of a sudden you have too many followers and you're not following enough people, okay? And then you don't have enough images on Instagram. So it's kind of like if those seem really out of proportion, then you're going to start then that's when Instagram's probably going to start looking at your account a little bit more and thinking that you're spamming people by just adding, automatically adding followers all the time. So what I like to alternate between following and unfollowing people, because you might have people that you're following on Instagram that aren't following you back. And on Instagram, there's a button you can check which can say they will unfollow people who aren't following you back. And so I like to alternate where I might have 1 or 2 days where I'm doing just following people on Instagram, and then I'll do 2 days where I unfollow. So I have a little bit of a system there, and that helps keep my followers, who's following me and who I'm following, and I try to keep them close together as possible. And that's a way to fly under Instagram's radar. I also make sure that I do not comment on the same user. So there's a button on there that you can check, which is you're only going to comment on that user one time, and you want to make sure that you check that button. Otherwise, anytime there's a lot of people on Instagram who post multiple images throughout the day, and if you're always commenting on their images, they're gonna probably think you're spamming them all the time. So there's a button that you can say when it's don't comment on the same users and comment only on new media. So with that said, I'm going to take you right to my Instagram account. So I'm going to come right. I know I'm kind of running through this, but we'll have a time to ask questions. Let me make sure I got the right. Hopefully you'll see my screen here, guys. So I'm going to bring up my Instagram here. So this is Instagram. Okay, good. We're on Instagram here. And what you see here is we have a buying time package. So if I click on extra time here, you can see how you can buy certain days worth of time to use this. You can see here we have likes, so you can choose to turn off likes. Just make sure that when you're going to make changes, you have to hit stop to make those changes, and then it tells you how much time you have left in it, with your package. You can leave comments. You can follow and unfollow, and right now, today, I started doing some unfollows because I wanted to balance my followers to who I'm following versus who's following me. I wanted to keep that close to even as possible. Now, for your main settings, you can choose to have it go fast, where they're going to accumulate as many followers as fast as possible. Media source, so you can choose either from your feed or from tags. I always have tags. And this is where you want to make sure you're going to do new media only, okay? So that's only new media objects. And that'll be if they're, and don't comment on the same users, okay? So if a user put up one new media, if they put up multiple images, you will only comment and like just on that one image and not on all of them. So that's a really good way, so that you're not spamming that same person with your images all the time. Unfollow source. Here, you want to make sure that you're going to unfollow those who don't follow you. Okay, you want to get those people out of your Instagram space. You just want people who are following you. And then for tags, you have to have, they say, a minimum of at least 10 tags, but you can have more. So what I like to do when I did my research, these are the tags that I tend to use, and those are the ones where I'm going to be, where if people are putting up images and they're using these specific hashtags, that's where this Instagram will be doing my liking and commenting and following people who are using one of these hashtags. So as you see here, I have things called InstaFollow, I have Entrepreneur, BizOp, Work From Home. Those are kind of some really big ones that are used that I found in takes for likes. MLM Success, MLM Leads, Network Marketing. And I also put down some people here too. We have people in Instagram who like to do inspirational quotes from some people like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Shark Tank. That's a real big show that's going on. We have a lot of people who who watch that show, and they will post images with that Shark Tank hashtag. I also like to make sure that I include like follow me, follow for follow, follow back. Those are huge when it comes to getting some really good followers. And then down here for comments, again, I'm keeping them very generic. And if you just want to add comments or tags, you just add that there to the add comment box. So I'm going to just stop this up here real quick and I'll show you how that happens. So that's stopped, and then if I wanted to add things, so if I look here, I have something like awesome pick, follow me, I follow back. All right, cool pick, or I'll put things like takes for likes, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of hashtags in there. The only hashtags you notice that I use would be like follow for follow or follow takes for likes. Those are the only hashtags that I look there because that's pretty generic, and that's what a lot of people on Instagram will do. They like to engage and find people, so they will use the tags for likes, they will use follow for follow. But if you look here, I have things like, like it, how are things? Wow, what's new? Great shot, how are things? I'm always asking, like, how are you doing? I like it. And what that does is, like I said, we're breaking the ice. We are capturing people's attention. Now, what you're going to want to do, too, is you're going to start seeing notifications when you start using Instagram where they're going to say so-and-so is following you. Now, this is a real important tip. When you get that, you cannot hit the follow button like on your mobile device when you do that, because that will screw up. I'll show you here when I hit start. As this starts, I'm going to get a message here. It says you strongly recommend to not like, comment, or follow from your phone or other third-party websites, as well as use other bots simultaneously with Instagram. These actions can lead to errors or password reset. So how do you follow back? Well, what I usually do is, when I see if someone's following me, I will then, go to Instagram and I will try to find, you can use on your mobile device, if you click on their name, not on the button that says to follow them, but if you click on their name, it'll take you right to their Instagram profile, and then you can, and I do this on my desktop, where you can go right to the Instagram account. Like if I go up here, if I'm going to go to my Instagram account, and let's see if I can find some people who, sometimes I can find out who are following me. Now let me see here. I can find my followers. Or I have to, sometimes I go to Iconosquare, and I'll be talking more about Iconosquare next week, where you can see how people, you can look for, let's see, let me find there we go. So if I go here, I can find out, who's following me. All right, and if I looked here, am I following him? Oh, count as private. Or I can look here, and I can follow back on Iconosquare. So I can sit and I can hit follow back here, and that's not going to mess up with Instagram. And I can also do that, if you need to type, sometimes it's hard to type out when you're on your mobile, but this is another way that you can find people who, you're following and following back. But I love using Instagram. This is a great way to get things fast, and a lot of times that will, people are impressed by numbers. So if you're showing people what your Instagram profile is, and if you're constantly posting to Instagram, and you have a good amount of followers following you, and you're following people back, when people see bigger numbers, they kind of perceive you also as the authority, like, wow, you really grown your audience, and we want to know more about you. So I'm going to come back to the main area here. Does anybody have any questions right now as far as what I've been talking about here with Instagram? Just waiting for folks to bring up any questions here. As we're waiting for questions to come in, I'm going to give you your homework assignment. And I like to give homework assignments on these weekly Hangouts just so that you get in the habit of starting to take action. And when you start taking action, one thing I've found that I used to be addicted to shiny objects and jumping from one thing to the next and really not sitting down and sticking through with something. But I found when I take action every day on a particular strategy and I practice it, what happens is I wind up getting better at it, and I don't have those urges to really chase down shiny objects because they lose their allures. So that's kind of the secret to getting over shiny object syndrome, is just start taking action. Now, good, Bill says that there's no questions. So the first thing I want you to do for your homework assignment is this. I want you to start playing around with Instagram. So I want you to start using, go into your tags for likes, start researching what tags you're going to be using. Try Instagram for 3 days. See how people, are you getting a lot of responses? Are you seeing people engaged with you? And if you're seeing that, then you're going to want to extend that, time out, because this is a good way to acquire leads. And that's how I get, 70 leads a week for my business just using Instagram. And Instagram was a big thing, and it's making sure that you're just starting conversations. And the more conversations you start, people are going to want to interact with you more, and then pretty soon you're going to develop a really solid, stable base of followers that are really going to be interested in your images, and then they're going to start sharing your images, and that's what's really cool too. So if there are no questions tonight, I'm going to, yay, we kind of ended early, or right on time actually this week. Usually I like to keep the Instagram-oramas to between about 30 to 45 minutes just because there are other webinars that happen at 8, and I want you guys just to have a little break before jumping to the next training. So I want, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And then I will make sure that I get this uploaded to my YouTube channel as fast as possible. And if for some reason YouTube decides to shut my account down, don't worry. I will make sure that I get these recordings on a different video hosting account, and that you will have access to them. So this is Dr. Lisa Thompson. Thank you for coming by here today, and I will see you next week.